Well, hey, welcome back. You're listening to the Better Living Concepts Book Club series. My name is Ryan. This is my lovely wife, Janine. And we're in the middle of David Wolfe's book, Sunfood Diet Success System. And we're launching into lesson 12, which he calls the Transition Diet. And as we mentioned on our previous episode, this is a very long lesson. So we've kind of changed up things a little bit.
Loaded.
Pardon me?
It's loaded.
It is loaded, yeah. But before we dive into the reading, did you have any thoughts right out of the gate?
Oh, just a couple of things. One of the opening quotes, you don't become a raw foodist, you already are one.
Yes.
The body is designed to process raw material. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunfood diet is not about restriction, it's about abundance.
Oh, yes, that's good.
But loved the headings that he puts in here.
Yeah, of course. In fact, let's just maybe mention what those are, so that you all have an idea of what's coming up in the reading.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into what to eat. He's going to share a little bit about organic food, and then he's got this section on increasing digestive strength. I'll just mention one thing there. He talks about the Ejuva cleanse, and I looked that up, and that was kind of I'll just say it was kind of wild, but I recommend you at least check out the Ejuva cleanse, but you'll hear more about that. And then eating healthy in social situations. He talks a little bit about peer pressure, which we all know that no matter what we do in life, whenever we're trying to improve ourselves, peer pressure always seems to be one of those areas that we need to overcome. So he gives you just a couple paragraphs there on that. He'll then go into eating while traveling, which I thought was pretty helpful. How to eat raw in the city, eating food naturally, and then he jumps into a pretty good sized section here called Superior Food Combining.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting, where he talks about what kinds of foods go well together. And he's got a chart to help understand that as well. And there's actually 18 points in that section. And if you want to jump in with anything, by all means do so.
Yeah, well, the next section, the transition guidelines, there were 30 transition guidelines.
Yeah.
So, as we said, it's really
very extensive.
Yeah, quite long, but great points. And we do have the slides that we put in there to kind of help clarify and review each section. And then, what was that? Starches, dehydrated food, frozen food, overeating, flatulence. Whole section
that always gets a chuckle.
And then he ends with better choices, right?
Yep. And then, of course, we'll talk about the action steps.
We'll come back to that.
So with that, that's kind of a brief overview of what you're going to get here in the reading in the next little bit. And so we do recommend that you check that out, and we'll come back and give you some thoughts to wrap it up. Lesson 12, the Transition Diet. 1 Corinthians 3:17, for the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. And a quote from Sunfood.com, you don't become a raw foodist, you already are one. Your body is designed to process raw materials. First, we understand that the Sunfood diet transforms you in 3 specific stages, all of which will elevate you to a new understanding of your inner potential. 1. Detoxification. 2. Rejuvenation. And 3. Refinement. Second, we understand every life process is reversible. It might take from a few months to many years to make the transition back to the most fitting diet for your body, but once we embark on the path, the benefits will be worth the effort. Third, we must know that we're always in control. Success philosopher Napoleon Hill was well known for his belief that the power of thought is the only thing over which any person has complete, unquestionable control. Napoleon Hill was wrong. The power of thought is not the only thing which any person has complete, unquestionable control. Any individual has complete and unquestionable control over their food choices. No one has ever accidentally eaten a meal in their whole life. Now, that fact is truly astounding. It means, unequivocally, you may choose to give your body the very highest quality foods, and it will, in turn, give you the very highest quality performance. Eat the best food ever and experience the best day ever. What to eat? The Sunfood diet is not about restriction. It is about abundance. Eat any kind of raw plant food you like in the quantities you like, keeping in mind the balance outlined in the Sunfood triangle. Try adding new raw foods into your diet and allow them to crowd out the old food choices naturally. Don't try, quote-unquote try is a lie. Avoid guilt. Allow and flow with what is happening. The Sunfood diet requires green-leafed vegetables, sweet fruits, and fatty plant foods, but it can contain all kinds of raw plant foods. All fruits, herbs, vegetables of all types, sea vegetables, nuts, and seeds, as well as the superfoods, cacao beans, goji berries, wolf berries, spirulina, blue-green algae, maca, etc. All preferentially in their wild state and secondarily grown at home or organically from heirloom, non-hybrid strains. As a transitional stage, the Sunfood diet incorporates cooked vegetables with a preference for more natural plant varieties. For example, choosing baked sweet potato or yam preferentially over the standard hybrid potato. This program is to be coupled by individually advised short and long fast on vegetable juices and or water. Organic food. Let's begin the transition with organic food. Organic foods are not sprayed, grown with pesticides or fungicides, or genetically modified. Pesticides and fungicides are chemicals specifically designed to kill living organisms. They should not be used on our pristine lands, put on our foods, or fed to our children. Spend the extra money for organic food. You're worth it. That investment will come back to you and multiplied 100-fold. You'll also be supporting the organic farmers and organic food distributors who need our financial assistance. The famous 12-year Schufan study tested the nutritional superiority of organically grown foods. Among other things, Schufan found: 1. Organic foods have far higher mineral and trace mineral contents, with the exception of sodium. Organic produce contains far more iron, potassium, magnesium, and calcium than conventional crops. Most studies of this type demonstrate that organic foods have 2 to 10 times the mineral content of conventional foods. You really do get more value for the money. 2. Organic spinach contains 64 to 78% more vitamin C. 3. Organic savory cabbage contained 76 to 91% more vitamin C. 4. Organic crops had a dry weight after dehydration of 69 to 96% more than conventional crops, demonstrating a higher food value content. In 1993, Bob Smith, a trace minerals laboratory analyst, began a small experiment. For 2 years, he visited stores in Chicago and purchased 4 to 15 samples of both organic and commercial produce. He brought these samples back to his laboratory and tested them for trace elements. His conclusions were as follows. 1. Organically grown wheat had twice the calcium, 4 times more magnesium, 5 times more manganese, and 13 times more selenium than the commercial wheat. 2. Organically grown corn had 20 times more calcium and manganese, and 2 to 5 times more copper, magnesium, molybdenum, selenium, and zinc. 3. Organically grown potatoes had 2 or more times the boron, selenium, silicon, strontium, and sulfur, and 60% more zinc. 4. Organically grown pears had 2 to nearly 3 times more chromium, iodine, manganese, molybdenum, silicon, and zinc. Overall, organically grown food exceeded commercial grown crops significantly for 20 of the 22 beneficial trace minerals. Organic foods also had lower quantities of toxic trace elements such as aluminum, lead, and mercury. Pesticides are poison. According to data gathered from the internet, the top 10 worst chemical fruits and vegetables based on pounds per acre or kilograms per hectare of pesticides used are strawberries, dates, carrots, pears, cabbage, lemons, grapes, sweet potatoes, peaches, and nectarines. The lowest pesticide use was in the following: figs, avocados, pecan, and garlic. Increasing digestive strength. The digestive organs act as one big muscle. If you have weak digestion, you can strengthen your digestive capacity by slowly increasing the raw green vegetable juices in your diet over time. If no juicer is available, one may help their digestion along by soaking green leaves in olive oil for 2 to 3 hours before eating them. Chew your food well. One will automatically increase their digestive strength by introducing more and more fresh juices and raw foods at an appropriate pace, allowing the body to adjust. After about 6 months on raw foods, once the eating disciplines are in place, it's a great idea to do a raw herbal cleanse such as Ijuva. A cleanse will help strip out impacted mucus in the digestive tract, thus increasing digestive strength. In my experience, I have found that drinking freshly made green vegetable juices increases digestive strength. It supplies the minerals needed to digest the whole food. Chinese Oriental medicine claims that some people do not have enough fire in their constitution to thrive on raw foods. Anyone, however, can increase their fire to help digest raw foods, especially easy to digest blended foods. The best way to increase the fire in one's constitution is to sunbathe. It's in my experience that the more direct sun energy the body receives, the greater is the digestive strength. Other ways to increase the fire in one's constitution is to practice vigorous exercise, deep breathing, and Ashtanga yoga. In yoga, we find the breath of fire, which entails inhaling passively, exhaling in bursts through the nose as you pull the lower belly in, drawing up from the perineum. Eating healthy in social situations. What do you do when you go out to eat or visit family? What about business lunches? Plan ahead. Bring 1 or 2 avocados and or 1 or 2 apples with you. Order a salad and mix the avocados and or apples in with it. Generally, restaurants do not serve organic food, but we have to do the best we can in each circumstance. I have found that the best approach is to intelligently avoid the situation altogether. Do something different. Business people are tired of doing the standard business lunch. Take them to a juice bar or, where possible, a raw food restaurant. Take them to a park. Without food in the way, you can conduct business quickly and efficiently. This will save you the expense and time in your day. Another idea is to hire a raw food chef to cater business meetings. Check with your local raw food restaurants or email nature@sunfood.com to locate a raw food chef in your area. You have the most sophisticated computer in the world between your ears. Use it. Leverage your mind to figure out a way to redirect family events and business lunches to fit your dietary health habits. My experience as a raw foodist has taught me a wonderful lesson. The way people react to you and your diet has nothing to do with the diet itself, with other people, or with anything else. The way people react has everything to do with what is going on in your own mind. Once your mind is set right, everything else will set right. People have thousands of preconceived notions about vegetarian diets, but no preconceived ideas about eating raw foods. So you can say it's anything you want. Eating raw fruits and vegetables makes sense to most people, but eating tofu or seitan or millet does sound strange to the average person. When your attitude is positive and supportive towards other people and their food choices, they will not feel threatened by you, but will feel uplifted by you. Once we change, everything else changes around us. Peer pressure. Imagine if everybody smoked cigarettes and one day someone decided to stop. Imagine also that as soon as the withdrawal symptoms began, all the cigarette experts would get together and accost and attack anyone who did not smoke cigarettes for being nicotine deficient. You are going to face peer pressure. It is part of the process. All great endeavors have their challenges, or they wouldn't be great. When people offer you toxic food, they may be projecting upon you their own lack of information or fears. Let them know why you're making other choices. If they persist with negative behaviors towards you and make you feel uncomfortable, then you should minimize or eliminate spending time with those people. Use these incidents of negativity to drive you to stay resolute with your own diet and spiritual path. Eating while traveling. Cucumbers, nuts, seeds for eating and sprouting, dried fruits, Himalayan pink salt or Celtic sea salt. My all-raw superfood powder, sun is shining, spirulina, blue-green algae, cacao beans, goji berries, wolf berries, and grass powders for chlorophyll and minerals are beneficial to take with you while traveling. You may find that it's easy to be a Sunfoodist while traveling, especially in Europe and Mexico during the summer because fresh fruit stands are abundant. In tropical countries, fresh coconuts become a staple while traveling. Water is another factor while traveling. Airplane travel dehydrates the body as cabin air is extremely dry. Be sure to bring quality water with you while flying. I once spoke to a Mormon missionary on the phone who had befriended a raw foodist as they were both working to spread their message in a third world country. On the phone, the missionary told me that the raw foodist was known for cooking his water instead of his food. The lesson I picked up from this conversation was valuable. If you are in a less developed country with a questionable water supply, boil your water to kill any parasites. Then recharge it by placing pink salt or sea salt, MSM powder, large quartz crystals, and fresh lemon juice in the water before drinking it. Waterborne parasites are a primary source of illness in less developed countries. Consider packing powdered cayenne with you on your travels. Powdered cayenne has been shown to protect against waterborne amoebic dysentery, a common ailment afflicting travelers in less developed nations. Powdered cinnamon has also been shown to be very effective. Eating while traveling requires planning ahead. Leverage your mind. You have built within you the intuitive ability to intelligently set goals and think ahead. Contact sunfood.com to pick up the book Healthy Highways by Nikki and David Golbeck, which is a state-by-state directory of over 1,000 natural food stores, juice bars, and delicatessens in the United States. My website, davidwolfe.com, regularly updates readers on the status and location of all raw food restaurants in the world. Also, review the raw food restaurants section in the back of this book. How to eat raw in the city. Cities typically abound with chemicals and toxins. Because all of the toxicity in the air and water, we need to protect ourselves. I have found that densifying the body with more young coconuts and nuts protects the body from pollution. If we're totally purified on a raw food diet containing little or no fats, pollution can filter into us. Things move from areas of greater concentration to areas of lesser concentration. By eating nuts, we provide a dense fat substance which moves into the lymph and thickens our tissues. This protects us. Nut fats, especially from cacao nuts, also provide us with more antioxidants to protect against free radicals formed from city toxins. I've also found protection in the city by eating significantly more ripe hot peppers. Every city contains ill people who are carrying within them large amounts of toxicity that may be breeding virulent bacteria. City life often brings us into direct physical contact with these people. Hot peppers contain phytoantibiotics that wipe out harmful bacteria, thus aiding our immune system. Hot peppers may be eaten with avocados or nuts to cut their heat. If hot peppers are too strong for you, you might want to add other antibiotic foods such as garlic, onions, or ginger to your diet while in the city. Of course, nature's lung cleansers, the green vegetables, should be increased when breathing polluted air. I generally achieve this by drinking more green vegetable juice while staying in big cities such as New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, or London. Food tastes better when you eat it naturally. the taste is altered when utensils are used. Have you ever eaten juicy, ripe, organic watermelon without a knife, just with your hands? One time, my cousin and I decided to eat a ripe organic watermelon I had grown in my backyard without using a knife. We waited until it was ripe and soft enough for us to punch into the shell with our fists. Then, under a shiny afternoon sun, we broke into the melon and began scooping out handful after handful of luscious melon. It was one of the most incredible eating experiences I've ever had. The melon tasted better. The seeds never got in the way, because when a watermelon is eaten naturally, the seeds slip through your fingers. Watermelon seeds only get in the way when the melon is eaten unnaturally with a knife. Those types of insights make life new and wonderful. Try eating a watermelon with your bare hands, and you'll agree with the old Sunfood.com saying, watermelon is the top food on the planet. Superior food combining. Natural hygiene is a philosophy that promotes entirely natural means to heal the body by using properly combined whole plant foods, exercise, sunshine, and rest. The principles of food combining espoused by natural hygiene in books such as the Diamond's Fit for Life and Herbert Shelton's Food Combining Made Easy work extremely well for the average individual who is new to this diet information. They worked for me when I first applied them. These principles essentially demonstrate that cooked proteins, fish, tofu, etc., and cooked carbohydrates, potatoes, rice, etc., should not be eaten together, and that all cooked foods should be eaten with a salad. They also demonstrate the vital point that only one type of concentrated or cooked food should be eaten at a meal. Also, they suggest fruits should be eaten alone on an empty stomach. The challenge with the old food combining principles is that they are outdated and much has been learned since they were formulated decades ago. My new guidelines are not strict but helpful. Eating should be fun. Below, I have listed my suggestions for superior food combining. 1. If cooked or dehydrated foods are eaten, try to eat only one type per meal and eat them with green vegetables. 2. For beginners, fruit digests best on an empty stomach. One may try eating sweet fruits with green vegetables and/or fats and oils. This is fine as long as no gas flatulence is created. Sweet fruits may be eaten with light green leaf vegetables such as lettuce or mint leaves. 3. The following fruits combine well with fat-dominant foods: bananas, apples, dried fruits, and alkaline fruits such as citrus, figs, papaya, and berries. Fat-dominant foods include avocados, olives or olive oils, nuts, seeds or seed oils, coconuts, durian, and raw dairy. Combining sweet fruits and fats will allow the sugar from the sweet fruit to be time-released, providing more long-term energy. 4. If sweet fruits are eaten with cooked or steamed non-starchy vegetables such as asparagus, cauliflower, or broccoli, the fruit should be eaten first. Combining sweet fruits and non-starchy cooked vegetables may allow the sugar from the sweet fruit to be time-released, again providing more long-term energy. This does not work for everybody. Sweet fruits should otherwise not be mixed with cooked or dehydrated foods due to the potential for fermentation and gas. 5. Initially, if you are very sensitive, stay with one type of sweet fruit at a time. One may eat multiple types of sweet fruits together as the digestive strength increases over weeks, months, and years of eating raw plant foods. 6. Green leafy vegetables of different varieties may be eaten together. 7. Green leafed vegetables should always be eaten with any cooked starches such as bread, pasta, rice, cakes. Except for crispy or crunchy starches, corn chips, potato chips, toast, popcorn, which should be eaten with fats such as avocados, olives, or their oil, young coconut, seed oils, etc. Crispy or crunchy starch is very coarse and harsh on the soft tissues of the body. Fats soften the abrasive quality of these foods. 8. Foods dehydrated below 120 degrees Fahrenheit are great for transition diets and as raw treats because the enzymes are intact and they provide a bridge away from cooked food. Typical dehydrated foods should be eaten with green leafy vegetables. Crispy dehydrated foods should be eaten with plant fats. When transitioning into or onto raw foods, I found benefit in squeezing lemon or lime juice on cooked foods and dehydrated foods. This adds flavor, enzymes, and alkalinity without contributing to fermentation of the food in digestion. 9. Cooked foods and dehydrated foods should not be mixed together as it may cause a clash, fermentation, and overall poor digestion. Again, only one concentrated food should be eaten per meal. 10. Plant protein, or superfoods such as hemp protein, goji berries, algae, bee pollen, etc., may be eaten with light green vegetables such as lettuce and celery. They also may combine well with oils and sweet fruits in smoothies. This works as long as they do not produce gas or flatulence. The fiber-bound plant proteins, such as sprouted grain and sprouted legumes, should be eaten with alkaline green vegetables to balance out their acids. These fiber-bound plant proteins typically do not mix well with fats or oils or sweet fruits. Animal proteins, except dairy proteins such as whey, also do not mix well with fats or oils or sweet fruits. Animal proteins are recommended to be eaten with green leafy salads or additional fiber and alkalinity. 11. Initially, stay with one type of fat per meal. Eventually, one may eat multiple types of raw fats together, ergo, avocados with nuts in a salad. As the digestive strength increases over weeks, months, and years of eating raw plant foods. 12. Spicy foods such as hot peppers, garlic, onions, ginger, etc. are not toxic if they are amenable to you. Eat them with fats and or green vegetables. I can eat ripe red jalapeno peppers one after the other while feeling only a slight heat. And that's an important point. Peppers must be ripe, not green, or they may be allergenic or toxic. 13. Low sugar fruits and raw cruciferous vegetables may be eaten together, such as okra and cauliflower. Different types of low sugar fruits may be mixed together, such as cucumbers and tomatoes. Different types of cruciferous vegetables, such as broccoli and cauliflower, may be mixed together. 14. Low sugar fruits may be eaten with greens or fats. Low sugar fruits can be juiced with green vegetables. 15. For purposes of food combining, seaweeds such as dulse, nori, or kelp may be treated as green leafed vegetables. However, they are not a replacement for green leaf vegetables. 16. Raw fermented foods such as seed cheeses, kimchi, sauerkraut, etc., which often appear in accelerated healing diets due to their high enzyme activity, may be eaten with green leafy vegetables to calm their digestion. Raw fermented foods can combine well with cooked and or dehydrated crackers. 17. Raw cruciferous vegetables and sprouts are typically more bound up in fiber than other vegetables and may be difficult for some people to digest. For this reason, when eaten with fruit, gas or flatulence commonly arises due to incomplete digestion with both foods. Raw cruciferous vegetables and sprouts may be eaten with green leafy vegetables and oils. In some people, they mix well with avocados and olives. And 18. After some time of eating all raw plant foods, you may find your digestion will have strengthened to the point where you can combine almost any raw foods together without any adverse reactions. I have even combined watermelon, macadamia nuts, avocados, cucumbers, kale, and tomatoes at the same time without an adverse reaction. Transition guidelines. 1. Control and direct your thoughts. The more you think about yourself as you could be, rather than as you perceive you are, the more excited you'll become about increasing your health. You'll begin to see yourself as a radiant being. You will be convinced you can do it. One day you will succeed in performing something you previously thought of as quite impossible to accomplish. You may not even notice this extraordinary deed, but as you keep on performing impossible tasks, or as impossible things keep on happening, you become aware that a sort of power is emerging. 2. What you do must be the product of your own conclusions. At some point on this dietary journey, you are going to have faith. Faith in the restoring power of natural foods. Faith in yourself and your own good judgment. No degree of success is possible without some degree of trust in our intuition and the unknown. This is laid out in nearly every spiritual book, including Napoleon Hill's masterpiece, Think and Grow Rich. In fact, he dedicated a whole chapter to faith, and I present to you a lesson on the subject as well. 3. Guard your mind against the negative influences of other people. Critically think through free advice. Anything acquired without effort and without cost is generally not helpful. Seek out and listen to those who are getting the results you desire. 4. Transition smoothly away from the meat-based diet as calmly and as quickly as possible. People often first let go of red meat, then pork, then chicken, and then fish. This pattern works extremely well. Replace meat with avocados, young coconuts, olives, nuts, and seeds. By transitioning from a cooked meat diet to a vegetarian diet, happier feelings, more vigorous health experiences, and positive emotions will arise more often. 5. Transition smoothly away from dairy foods by first letting go of eggs, milk, and then cheese. Move to raw organic milk or cheese if you feel it necessary. One may replace dairy foods with green-leafed vegetables for calcium and avocados, young coconuts, olives, nuts, and or seeds for their excellent raw plant food content. 6. Continue to eat a large percentage of raw plant foods throughout your transition. Once you have let go of animal foods and have adopted a vegan diet, then you can find the transition to more and more raw foods easier. 7. The body feels a shakeup and discomfort with a sudden change in diet. Counselors who have worked with drug addicts know that it can be dangerous to stop a drug habit too abruptly. The body can be shocked by being deprived of a certain poison, such as cocaine, especially when this drug's constant use has forced the body to adapt itself to the poison. A drug can actually become a physiological necessity one must wean away from. This same principle holds true with many addictive cooked foods. Transition at your own pace, but continue moving forward. To be successful in anything, you must be willing to step outside of your own comfort zone. Push the bounds of your potential. All successful people have this in common. You may realize your comfort zone was never really comfortable. Stabilize at 70% raw, then 80%, then 90%. Try eating a 100% raw plant food diet if that's possible for you. 8. The ultimate diet. Weight loss success formula. Increase raw, decrease cooked. It works every time. 9. Take massive raw foods action. Start consistently putting significant amounts of high-quality raw plant foods into your body instead of cooked food. Just get the raw food into the body and everything else follows. Get the old juicer out of the cupboard or invest in a new juicer. Drinking fresh vegetable juice daily, about a half a liter or more, is extremely important in the transition process and beyond. Drink slowly. Mix the juice well with your saliva before swallowing. Drinking fresh vegetable juice allows minerals to reach the blood and tissues quickly. Contact sunfood.com to find out how to obtain the highest quality juicers in the world. 10. Eat wild, homegrown, and or organic food. Organic food is grown without pesticides and other dangerous chemicals such as chemical fertilizers. See the section on organic food above. Organic food also is free of genetic modification. Eating pesticide-free and non-genetically modified foods are extremely important for all healthy populations to observe into the future. 11. For the ideal digestion and assimilation of fruits, maintain a mono diet, one fruit at a time, whenever comfortable. If you do eat more than one type of fruit, try to give yourself 30 to 60 minutes between fruit types. Fruits may be combined, but the mono diet is simplest for digestion. The mono diet is based on the realization that when you eat any fruit in its original state, its taste changes at some point from pleasant to unpleasant. This means that when the organism has filled its need for that particular food, it no longer wants any more, and the taste of the food changes. Pineapple, for example, gives a very strong taste change that can actually burn the mouth if one continues to eat past the signal. This is called an alliesthetic taste change. Alliesthetic taste change. Interesting. 12. For ideal digestion and assimilation, eat green leafy vegetables with raw plant fats and eat raw plant fats with green leafy vegetables. 13. Chew your food well. 50 to 100 chews per mouthful. This is going to take some concentration. And East Indian proverb states, chew your food well, for the stomach has no teeth. Another proverb states, drink your food, chew your juice. Remember, the entire premise behind digestion is to turn the food into a liquid so that it may be absorbed. 14. Eating seasonal fruits and green leaf vegetables is nature's way of telling you what to eat and when. 15. Eat fruits which contain good, strong, viable seeds. Eat fruits in their perfectly ripe stage. A perfectly ripe jalapeno pepper is red. A perfectly ripe lime is yellow. A perfectly ripe eggplant is yellow. 16. Eat more sweet fruits and or seeds if you are active. Eat more green leafy vegetables and or non-sweet fruits if you are sedentary. 17. Be aware that certain cooked food cravings present themselves when you are tired at the end of your long day. Be prepared. Go to sleep early if necessary. Drink a glass of pure water with a twist of fresh lemon. Persist. Break the old cycles, and soon the desire disappears. Cravings are always temporary. 18. For ideal food use and assimilation, eat only when actual hunger exists. Avoid emotional or boredom eating. 19. Exercise is the key to metabolizing food. Food is best metabolized when the desire is created for it through movement. Exercise creates a draw for nutrients within the body and lymph systems. To thrive on a raw food diet, exercise is essential. 20. Digestion is an art. Try eating while standing. When you are sitting, your internal organs are compressed and digestion is hindered. Also, try fully squatting instead of sitting during a bowel movement elimination. 21. Make a practice of eating the foods that agree with you. 22. Food itself is an anchor that accesses different emotional states. To break food addictions, identify which emotional state you are trying to reach and then discover a way to get there without food. Periods of food obsession will pass, just stay the course. Work through emotional addictions to food. You can do it. Ask for help. 23. Have a relative, friend, spouse, or lover do the Sunfood diet with you and support each other. 24. Get a job, career, or simply volunteer in either the diet, exercise, health, or success field. This will challenge you to walk your talk and keep pushing beyond former boundaries. It will bring you into contact with positive, supportive people. Introduce this book to new positive acquaintances to help them along. 25. Consider donating all the cooked food, pots, and pans in your home to charity. When you decide to make the jump, go to a local organic food stores, farmers markets, or farms and purchase a massive amount of raw plant food. Get a good variety and let the fun begin. 26. If interested in eating an all-raw diet, I recommend initially experimenting with it on a small scale. First go 100% raw for one day, then extend that to a week or a month. Set in advance a specific date and mark each successful day on a calendar. Understand that after you go 100% raw for 5 to 7 months straight, your body will not readily accommodate a return to a previously cooked food diet because you will be too cleansed, sensitized, and purified for your body to handle other foods. 27. What is the method by which your body returns to its natural diet? It is the pain-pleasure principle. As your body becomes more and more in tune with itself, the pain-pleasure principle takes over. Raw plant foods are so pleasurable that other choices disappear. 28. Meet other people excited about eating a raw plant food diet. Hold regular raw food potlucks. Place a raw food potluck notice on the bulletin board of your local natural foods market. 29. This book has been designed as a constant source of motivation. My desire is that the intensity of the emotion and the inspiration by which I live my life and which I have put into this book are passed along to you consistently. This book was created for you. Refer to it often. For support, reference our internet websites, sunfood.com, thebestdayever.com, and davidwolfe.com, or email us at nature@sunfood.com. If you do not have a computer, internet access is available at any public library. 30. Educate yourself. Saturate your mind. See Lesson 25, Saturation Point. Read, listen to audio tapes, watch DVDs and videos about natural, raw plant food nutrition. Discuss the idea with others. What you think about comes about. If you would like to read other books on eating raw plant foods, browse our online internet catalog at sunfood.com. Cooked starches. Cooked starches such as breads, pastas, cakes, rice, corn chips, potato chips, baked potatoes, popcorn, crackers, and cookies are typically the last cooked foods to go for most people as they transition into the raw foods. This is because cooked starch is the most addictive and the most blood sugar altering food. Life food nutritionist Dr. David Jubb has pointed out that starch does not appear in foods growing wildly. Starch develops as foods are domesticated, genetically crossbred and hybridized. See Lesson 16 for hybridized food. A diet heavy in cooked starch over many decades can cause arteriosclerosis, or hardening of the blood vessels, ossification of the tissues and joints, skin thickening, and premature aging. As Professor Arnold Ehret pointed out, the reason a cooked meat eater might live longer than a starch-eating vegetarian is because the first produces less obstructions than the starchy overeater. But the meat eater's later diseases are always more dangerous because of the accumulated poisons, pus, and uric acid found in the meats. To help overcome addictions to cooked starch, one can switch to dehydrated starchy foods. Every little discipline adds upon every other. Another useful tool to stay off starches is to combine sweet fruits and fats together in a meal. For example, oranges can be eaten with avocado or apples with nuts. This simulates the gradual sugar release from the breakdown of complex carbohydrates, cooked starch in digestion. Dehydrated food. Dehydrated foods that are heated below 118 degrees Fahrenheit, are an excellent tool to help succeed with the raw plant food approach. Dehydrated foods still have the enzymes intact, and my experience has been that they do not dampen the raw food high. However, I rarely eat dehydrated foods, except dehydrated flax crackers, and I imagine they could alter the raw food high if overeaten regularly. Many raw food recipe books describe how to make dehydrated foods. I recommend Raw Transformation, Raw Evolution, I Am Grateful, Raw Food Real World, and Raw, the Uncooked Book. There are many other great recipe books on the subject. Frozen foods. Generally, freezing food destroys anywhere from 30 to 66% of the enzymes in the food. Freezing is not as damaging as cooking. My own experiences and experiments have demonstrated that freezing alters the water and fiber in food and causes slow or constipated digestion if frozen food, even if defrosted, is eaten in excessive quantities. Water expands when frozen. The delicate fibrous structures inside all fruits and vegetables are damaged as water expands during the freezing process. Some raw plant foods are more tolerant of freezing than others. Durians, for example, tolerate freezing well. Berries are tolerant of the freezing process. Nuts and seeds are also tolerant of freezing temperatures as they possess a rich content of fats and oils and a low content of water. Overeating. Every sunfoodist grows through periods of eating large quantities of raw plant foods, especially during the transition and beyond. This is part of overcoming food cravings and releasing emotions. I recommend that you tune into the allesthetic taste change, progressively simplify your diet by living mostly on liquids, face sunken emotions when they come up, and enjoy the process of becoming healthier, happier, and more joyful. My personal feeling is that occasionally overeating raw plant foods is okay. You still get the results and the spiritual connection. A gorilla might eat 60 pounds of fruits and vegetables a day. Considering that a gorilla weighs 3 times as much as the average person, we may deduce that eating a third of the gorilla's fare would not be overeating. 1/3 of 60 pounds is 20 pounds of fruits and vegetables. Nobody can eat 20 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables every single day. If you overeat one type of food, such as sweet fruit, remember the Sunfood triangle. Balance by eating more fats and green leaf vegetables. Many new sunfoodists overeat dried fruit and nuts. This is okay as long as this behavior is balanced by green leaf vegetables. See the Sunfood triangle. Also, it is better to overeat avocados and olives than nuts, as avocados and olives are more digestible. Something to keep in mind. A raw foodist once shared a great piece of knowledge when he told me that any food is addictive if you eat too much of it. Switch your common foods around occasionally. Also, sometimes skip a meal and just drink water. Drinking water helps to alleviate hunger. Eating more high-quality, mineral-rich foods stops us from overeating. This demonstrates that overeating is often caused more by a desire for minerals and less by the desire for calories. The best way to overcome the desire for eating is to be so busy striving for and achieving goals that no time is left to eat. Enjoy your new diet. Once you feel capable, begin experimenting with eating less until you feel comfortable with less food. Refine your diet with time. Be patient. The saying goes, eat a little. That way you'll be around long enough to eat a lot. Systematic undereating slows the aging process. Flatulence. When one begins the Sunfood diet, fermentations may occur which form gas and flatulence in the intestinal tract. This may have several causes which are listed below. 1. When Sunfoods reach plaque-encrusted intestines, which are impacted with mucus and hardened fecal matter, they will not digest properly and fermentation may occur. To alleviate this situation, one should have a series of 5 to 8 colonics conducted by a registered colon hydrotherapist and also undertake an herbal cleanse such as Ejuva. Please call the sunfood.com for more details on that cleanse. 2. Foods are being combined haphazardly in less than ideal combinations. It's best to eat one type of food at a time and then wait 20 minutes to an hour to consume the next item. 3. Foods that are difficult to digest, such as bean sprouts, wheatberry sprouts, or soaked oats, are eaten in large quantities without being mixed with a sufficiently large quantity of green leaf vegetables. 4. Overeating apples and pears or their juices. These foods contain large quantities of pectin and other bowel cleansing compounds that can increase flatulence. 5. Undereating full-spectrum salts, such as sea salt or rock salt, and or sodium residue foods, especially greens such as kale, celery, dandelion, spinach. These foods cool the intestines. When the intestines are heated by too much potassium or sulfur residue foods, flatulence results. 6. A candida overgrowth or other microbial fungal imbalance of the digestive tract is occurring. This can be overcome by an organic, no sugar, no starch diet, probiotics containing Acidophilus, Bifidus, and Bulgaricus, supplemental enzymes such as beauty enzymes, more dietary greens, green juices, seeds, seaweed, superfoods, grapefruit seed extract, olive leaf extract, vitamin C from powdered berries, MSM powder, 1 to 2 tablespoons per liter of water, and garlic. If one repeatedly experiences gas and fermentation from eating sweet fruit as a mono diet, this could be a sign of candida overgrowth. If this is your situation, please review Lesson 13, How to Use the Sunfood Triangle, under the section Eating to Overcome Candida. Natural healers know that snake bites are dangerous, not only because of the venom, but also due to the fermentation they cause in the tissues. Ice on a snake bite will halt fermentation and also decrease circulation to slow the spread of the venom. To stop digestive fermentation, place a cool object or ice pack on the diaphragm or get into cold water. Sucking on ice cubes for 15 minutes may also be helpful. Better choices. Choose positive friends over negative relatives. Choose wine over beer. Most wine is raw, while wine is simply the product of grape fermentation. Beer is brewed or cooked. An occasional glass of wine does not break or hinder the Sunfood high. Beer, however, always snapped the spell for me, and I gave that up years ago. Choose organic wine containing no added sulfites. I personally do not consume alcohol anymore. Choose dandelion over iceberg lettuce. Commercial iceberg lettuce contains relatively little nutrition. Dandelion is a wild food and contains a full complement of minerals and vitamin C. Choose yams over potatoes. Potatoes are genetically weak, hybridized foods. Yams are closer to the wild state. They contain far better nutrition. Choose raw corn over corn chips. Have you ever eaten raw corn? We call it the raw corn revelation. Even though it is a hybrid food, a little white sweet corn in the summertime is a beautiful thing. Watch out for genetically modified strains. Even better is to grow sacred heirloom purple corn at home. Choose ocean water seaweed, Himalayan pink salt, or Celtic sea salt over table salt. Discover the taste sensation of ocean water or dulse seaweed with lime, tomato, and avocado. If any sprinkled salt is to be used, use highly mineralized pink salt or Celtic sea salt. Choose dried fruit over candy. Dried fruit is filled with natural sugar, which the body can recognize. Candy contains refined sugar that the body does not recognize and which acts as a powerful behavior drug. Eat green leafy vegetables with or following dried fruits to clean the teeth. Choose cruelty-free, organic, raw wild honey over conventional orchard honey. Because most farm bees are cruelly treated and have their honey or food taken away and replaced with sugar water and antibiotics, I do not recommend conventional orchard honey. I recommend cruelty-free, organic, raw wild honey. Problems with bread addiction may find relief by spreading a high-quality honey on their bread. The enzymes, amylase in honey, will begin to pre-digest the bread starch. Choose raw cacao beans and agave nectar, raw honey, or yacon root syrup over cooked chocolate. To conquer addictions to cooked chocolate, replace cooked chocolate with the real thing that is all chocolate is made from, cacao beans. I had an encounter once at one of my seminars with a group of women who cheered when they found out they could eat raw chocolate without guilt, fear, or anxiety. More information on chocolate is found at sunfood.com and in his book, Naked Chocolate. Choose dried prunes over dates. If you feel dates are too sugary or too strong, switch to dried prunes. If dates are eaten, they should be eaten in the fall and winter when they are in season. As far as dried fruits is concerned, while you are in the transition stage, prunes are a better choice than dates. Choose dried figs over raisins. Raisins are great if they have seeds. Without seeds, they are hybrids, seedless. Dried figs are full of crunchy little seeds that complement the taste and encourage thorough chewing.
Whew.
Okay, welcome back from the reading. That was, wow, extensive, deep.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I love this chapter. And so much like the previous lessons that we've learned, he just has a way of delivering value, delivering really good quality information. And makes it easy to understand and really gives you the opportunity to figure out how that you can implement these things in your life. So it's really kind of cool. I'll just share really quick out of the gate what one of the first things that I really liked was that very first sentence, you know, where he says, first we understand that the Sunfood diet transforms you in 3 specific stages, all of which will elevate you into a new understanding of your inner potential. That's number 1, detoxification, number 2, rejuvenation, and number 3, refinement. To me, that helps to put a clear picture in my head of the processes, the phases that we go through. And so I thought that was pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple other things that I wanted to mention before we move into the action steps. One of the things that he says here is where he talks about increasing digestive strength. We mentioned it at the beginning, the Ujuva cleanse. I looked that up, and I would encourage you to look that up too, but just beware. Some of the pictures are pretty shocking, I'll just tell you that. So I didn't want you to be caught off guard, but it looks like something that would be remarkable to experience, right?
Okay.
So I think, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I think I'm going to partake of that. Right. Yeah. So of course he recommends that you go about 6 months on raw foods first and sort of get your body acclimated to that sort of discipline, and then do the Ujuva cleanse. So
6 months.
6 months on raw foods, yeah. Or implementing raw foods. I suspect that if you're doing 70% raw, that kind of a thing, you're probably going to be, you know, within the realm of doing this. So.
Well, I love the way he broke it down into each of those sections. It makes it easier to remember and understand.
Yeah.
And you really get the sense of abundance, right?
Yes.
With fruits and vegetables and the nuts and seeds and what's available naturally in nature.
Yeah.
So pretty inspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Indeed. I also, before we go, I also liked where he said that in his experience he's found that drinking freshly made green vegetable juice increases digestive strength. It supplies the minerals needed to digest the whole food. So just another, you know, the digestive strength section, that spoke to me, because I think that's probably pretty important. So with that, we can probably just go ahead and jump into the action steps.
Okay.
Unless there's something else that you wanted to add.
Nope, that should be it. Oh yeah, I did really like the better choices. I thought that was really concise and helpful.
Yeah.
You know, to remember one thing over the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That was good.
Okay, well, let's dive into the action steps for lesson 12, the transition diet. And there's 4 of them, and it goes like this. So number 1, enjoy your food without fear or anxiety. Eat 100% love. As long as you're eating the food and it is entering your body, allow it to be fully enjoyed and metabolized. Eat your food naturally and relax. How relaxed are your face, stomach, and hands while you eat?
How relaxed are they? I don't think I've ever thought about that.
that intrigues me.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, even when I'm eating my salad at lunchtime, I know that I'm just wolfing it down. You know, and I've just come from an environment of stress previous to having lunch.
Yes.
And so that's intriguing. I'm going to pay more attention.
I love that. Love.
Yes.
100% love.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 2, immediately act upon the transition guidelines outlined in this lesson. How can you adopt the transition principles into your lifestyle today and enjoy the process? Okay, so our assistant Madeline has also helped us put these together in separate little slides too.
Nice.
So that'll be easier to help remember. We can kind of watch each of those individually as kind of a refresher.
That's great. Awesome. Number 3, use the Superior Food Combining Table from this lesson daily until it becomes embedded in your consciousness. Photocopy the table and post it in your kitchen or dining area.
Okay. Number 4, if you are not able to get organic fruits and vegetables, what do you do? A, ask for organic food at your local store.
And B, order organic foods to be delivered by mail to your home. And then he's suggesting the resources section at the end of this book, and perhaps we can look into some way that we can provide that down the road.
Yeah, but they can also get the book.
Indeed.
C, start your own garden. If you do not have a yard, ask a friend if you can grow a garden in her or his yard.
And I like that one, you know, when you really think about the times that we're living in, right? There are a lot of people that are moving out into the country and starting their own gardens. And there's even things you can do, like even if you live in an apartment, there's microgreens that you can start. You can grow sprouts in a jar. And there's little different things you can do, like to grow on your balcony and whatnot. So yeah, there's some options there for you, even if you're living in an apartment. D, search for local organic growers. Perhaps you can volunteer your services in exchange for food.
Oh,
kind of getting back to the bartering system.
Yeah. E, start your own organic farm.
Wow. Now that would be an undertaking. That's intriguing though, actually. F, write a letter to your local politicians, newspapers, and other media outlets telling them how you feel about the difficulties of finding non-poisoned food in your area.
Non-poisoned food.
Yes.
Please, sir, I want some non-poisoned food. Love it. Okay, G, eat wild foods. So basically go out and kind of forage for wild stuff.
Find your dandelion greens for your salads and mushrooms and things like that. David would be really proud of us for going out and finding our own mushrooms, that's for sure.
Probably would.
H, plant fruiting plants and trees wherever you legally can and enjoy the harvest each year.
Great idea. I, consider moving to a better location where higher quality foods are available.
Indeed. And that's why we just touched on, maybe even just moving to a different area that allows you to grow your own garden. And then finally, J, contact the gardening advocacy group, Food Not Lawns.
I wonder what their position is.
Yeah, Food Not Lawns, as in green lawns.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, that's that wraps up lesson 12 and the transition diet. We really hope that that you find some great value in that and that you begin to implement some of those transitions and guidelines, and I know we will be too. And yeah, from there we're going to be moving obviously into lesson 13, which is he dives a little bit deeper into how to use the Sunfood triangle. So with that, we hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.